When you stay with a company and grow in that company, there's a different type of satisfaction. And I had the opportunity to grow at every step. Selling is a clear cut, process driven. The performance is directly proportional to the number of effective calls you make and the number of effective medico marketing meetings you do. The end result of marketing is also sales. So if you know sales, you can do marketing better. When I look at and interact with today's youth, in pharma industry, I always feel that first thing they will come and say that I want to get into product management because I have done MBA. I always tell them that spend some time in the field because you will get experience in sales, which is very, very important to you in your entire career life cycle of pharma. 20% of the doctors give 80% of the business. If those 20% are getting missed out in the right frequency, the results will not come. That is very clear.
So today we have with us Alok Khettry. He is a former Chief Operating Officer at Bharat Serums and Vaccines. He is a ex-senior director at Sanofi Group. So welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you.
So today we are going to learn a lot of lessons from Alok sir, and he has been into the different career bridges we can say. So one is like multinational era, then he moved to the transformation era, right? And then there was a consolidation era where the merger and acquisition also took place, and he was a part of that change. So, so welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thank you, Sneha.
Yes. So, sir, let's go back to your old days when you have started into the pharma industry first time as an MR, right? So, what was that initial phase of your life was like?
I think it was the most interesting period where I learnt a lot. See, when you work as a pharmaceutical medical representative, you are meeting doctors, you're meeting retailers, you're meeting the pharmacist, you're meeting your distributors. So they're all qualified people, basically. And in each interaction, you learn, you know. So basically, that I felt was something very interesting. You have a sales target, you have a new communication every once in 2 months, and then you have sales closing every month.
Yeah.
So it's a very adventurous field in a way. And I always compared it with the army, because in army, people join as a second lieutenant, then they grow and they can go up to the highest level. you know they can go to the chief of the army staff or even more. In pharmaceuticals also, you start as a medical representative and you keep on growing, whether in sales or through marketing or through support functions now like commercial excellence, and you can grow as the managing director of of the company, and you can also grow beyond that. Like today multiple countries are under one person, or you have global CEOs, and there are a lot of Indians as global CEOs in many companies, I would say, not only pharmaceutical but many industries. So the opportunity is very vast, you know in fact it is infinite. So I felt that I should learn every day from each and every interaction of mine with doctors, understand from them their deep insights regarding patient and how they treat the patient, and even when I was visiting, for example, retail chemists, how to really ask questions, understand how market research is done or survey is conducted. Similarly, when we are meeting distributors, you know what type of information I should
Yeah.
discuss with them. And I think all these things gave me a very strong background. My fundamentals, you know, actually were enhanced because of this tenure of mine, which was for 7 years.
Hmm.
And I feel that for every pharmaceutical professional, the tenure may be shorter now, but this experience of being in the field is very, very important.
True. So, sir, let's go back a little to the younger days when you was not into the pharma industry. So, why particularly you chose pharma as an industry?
Okay. So at the first, at the outset, I would say I was influenced by my one of my relatives, my father's uncle, who was in a multinational company, and I used to really love his lifestyle, his travel, and he used to go and meet different people and attend conferences and all. And I used to feel that's very exciting life. And at that time, I was a student basically. Then I said that since my aptitude is towards sales, towards marketing, I should look at an industry where I'm interacting with people who are educated, you know, and so that I can exchange ideas with them and learn from them. And here I felt in pharma industry, whether you are meeting the doctors, pharmacists, distributors, all are educated people, and also it helps you to learn the basics of selling. That's why I chose pharmaceutical industry. And
Wow.
as I said, that this is one industry which gives you an opportunity to grow your career. you know
Mm.
this is one industry where your growth sky is the limit.
Mm.
You can grow to any level. So all these reasons put together, I decided to choose the pharma industry.
Right. And I think, rightly said, like pharma is, I think, one of the biggest industry in the world,
Hmm.
and you definitely get to learn. And as you have mentioned, you treated it like a army profession where you go to the various levels, right? And like, so I'll be like, more happy to unfold this journey slowly, right? So now moving one step ahead, the way I have mentioned the multinational era, so you have worked with MNCs, and the fun part about here is company names change and you stayed constant.
Yeah, I always joke that I did not change the company for 35 years, but company name changed 5 times.
Correct.
Because I started with Russell, and then that merged with Hex, so it became Hex Russell. Then it acquired Marion Merrill Dow, a US based company, so it became Hex Marion Russell. Then it acquired Ron Poland Rohrer, so it became Aventis. Then Aventis was acquired by Sanofi, so it became Sanofi Aventis. And then there was a Genzyme acquisitions and many other acquisitions, and finally they kept the name Sanofi now.
Right. So I think that was the longest career, more than 3 decades. You have worked with Sanofi Group.
Yeah.
So, sir, while working with Sanofi, in those 3 decades, you have come across lots of mentors or some of the people you have idolized.
Hmm.
So, what were the key learnings that they have given you? And whenever you make any decision, those are the people who come to your mind.
Yeah. So I think I had leaders, you know, from whom I have learned quite a lot. They have been, I would say, in a way, they have helped me in shaping my career. So I would take the name of Dr. Sailesh Iyengar, who was our MD in Sanofi, and from him, what I learned is that the compassion and empathy are very important, and connect with people, because people work for people, is something absolutely critical. And I think this is something which I have followed in my leadership journey, because I felt that this is one resource.
Mm.
We may call it a resource, but actually, if you ask me, it is the main thing, because if people decide to make something happen, it happens. And the leader actually is somebody who should have the ability to make the best out of his team, which also enables the team to give their best and grow in their careers. So this is one. And as I said, I learned from all my bosses. I had Dr. Sandeep Bhattacharya as my boss. In fact, he has been somebody, I would say, he has been also a global leader in pharmaceutical, and somebody who actually taught about, you know I would say, patient centricity, you know around 30 years back. That why do we all exist as a company? It is because of that patient. So work towards developing healthcare solutions rather than pushing a tablet. you know and this has stayed with me. Now everybody is in pharma industry talks about patient centricity, but he was one person who gave that, I would say, the initial idea. And that was a great learning from myself also. I had one of my bosses as Mr. Biplab Chatterjee. He used to always quote, in many conferences, Swami Vivekanand. And the quote is very interesting one. It
Mm.
says that take care of the means, the end will take care of itself. You know,
Wow.
so basically, be process oriented. The results will follow. You know, and don't just get focused on the results. You know, I had another manager, Mr. Vadhwa. His point was 100% is not enough of target achievement. As a sales leader, as a business leader, he always used to say, it you he used to ask people that tell me how much surplus you are going to give me.
Okay.
So he always, I would say, encourage people to go beyond, you know,
Mm.
the target, and not really get stuck with the target. So I would say these are some of the uh, key things, which comes to my mind at this juncture,
Yeah.
which have stayed in my mind, and I have utilized that also in my life.
Right. So, sir, you mentioned about the target, and you also said, like, 100% is a mark
Hmm.
where you can say you have achieved the target.
Hmm.
Like 90% or 95% is also not the actual achievement of
Yeah.
target. And achievement should be after the 100%.
Yeah.
But many professionals in the industry, they struggle to achieve 100%. And sometimes the management also set the standards in such a way, the targets, like, they are sometimes very difficult. So when you used to have the target, what used to be your strategy to achieve or surplus that?
See, pharmaceutical, as I said, selling is a clear cut, process driven. The performance is directly proportional to the number of effective calls you make, you know, and the number of effective medico marketing meetings you do.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very clear. Suppose somebody is missing the target, they have to look at, are they meeting the right target audience? Because again, 20% of the doctors give 80% of the business. If those 20% are getting missed out in the right frequency, the results will not come.
Mm.
That is very clear. So that is the first part, that are they meeting the right doctors with the right frequency? Are they ensuring that they are detailing the right product, what they need for the patients, to the right
Mm.
doctors? And third is, are they doing the right type of medico marketing activity which that doctor is interested in?
Mm.
You know. Now, if these things are followed properly, there's no reason why people will miss their targets.
Very, very correct, sir.
Yeah. People generally look at the end rupee value,
Mm.
which is not the, see, when a prescription is generated, a unit is sold. Okay. So unit gets sold after the prescription of the doctor, and based on the number of units sold, you get a value. So at the end of the day, it's all about how many new patients got benefited from your product. That is very important,
Mm.
or how many patients have been retained in chronic therapy, for example, on your brand for the best clinical outcomes. So if that is the approach, the chances of missing targets are very low. In fact, people will always overshoot their targets.
Right. And I think when you focus more on the impact rather than just seeing it as a number,
Hmm.
that's where the actual change will start to happen.
Yes.
Wow. So, sir, when you was working with Sanofi, there were like we see that in 3 decades there are few people who stay in the company,
Hmm.
right? And when, like, the company name was changing, the management was changing, you stayed there.
Hmm.
So what was the reason of you staying there for so long, and what do you think that you would have missed if you was not stayed there for longer?
See, when you stay with a company, you know, and grow in that company, there's a different type of satisfaction. Okay. And I had the opportunity to grow at every step, you know, while I moved from sales to marketing. After that, I became, like, when became product manager, then I became product manager for Asia Pacific zone for one Marion Meldau product, Rifapentin group. So these are learnings you keep on getting. Then when Ron Polan was integrating, I got the opportunity to be oncology business head with some of the best products in oncology in that portfolio. Then when Sanofi Aventis took place, I got a chance to work with the CNS portfolio. And when Genzyme was acquired by internationally by Sanofi group, I can tell you the business there, the biotechnology products, the business of biosurgery, transplant, renal, oncology, it all moved into the Sanofi portfolio under my leadership. So the type of learning you get, because of all these changes, was immense. It was quite diversified. And that way I was always getting something new, and that was exciting to me. And I was growing in the process. So I was enjoying my work and growing in the process. So there was no reason to really look out
Mm.
or consider any opportunity which was coming in.
Okay. So, sir, when you was, changing your operations or changing your role from like MR's role to becoming a chief operating officer, so it's a career transition, right? And without any career coach, you have grabbed the opportunity, you have, maybe educated yourself in such a way. But how one can identify such opportunities and grab onto it?
See, first of all, I always feel that people should be very clear what they want to do. Like we do a case study, in a case study we do SWOT. People should do SWOT for themselves also. That what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their opportunities, and what are their threats. Now, when you marry the strengths and opportunities, you get your strategy. Okay. And that is something very important, that people should say that, okay, these are my strengths, I want to utilize it. Okay. And I should look for an organization which will actually facilitate the usage of my strength and help me to grow and grow in the process. So it is important for for the people first to recognize what are their strengths, then what are the opportunities in the market, and then which opportunity to take, and then have a long term view.
Mm.
So when we talking about 35 years, 40 years, career, 50 years career now many people have, it's a long duration. Many times I have seen people getting short term oriented, that this is advantage, so I'll move, I will jump, but it does not help. But in today's world, I am seeing that is happening very often. So maybe the trend is changing, but I felt that if you are focused, you know, on your strength, you win. And if you look at Sachin Tendulkar
Yeah.
example, he has been focused on his batting,
Mm.
which was his strength, and he became the master blaster, the god of cricket.
True.
Look at Amitabh Bachchan, again, no, man of the millennium in acting. But once he diverted towards
Mm.
politics, towards corporate, he lost out.
Mm.
And then he decided to come back to his forte. And then again he started growing. So that is very important to me. Focus on your strengths and be in the right place, because you have to work for an organization which is sustainable, and also having, I would say, good values,
Mm.
where you feel ki okay, you will grow with the organization, or the organization and people grow together.
Right. So, sir, now coming to the transformation era, where your MNC era was supposed to end, like your association with Sanofi, and you was about to join the BSV. So, how difficult or what the decision was like, and what are, like, on your personal level, what are the things that you were thinking ki, and what are the discussions that were going on with your family, maybe your office, your colleagues, and when was the time when you decide ki okay, now I have to take a leave?
Yeah, so basically what happened is, when I uh, was in Sanofi and I was looking after this multi-country organization in
Mm.
Southeast Asia, um, COVID was also around that time.
Mm.
And due to some personal reasons, I could not have moved after my tenure there. which is like a 3.5 year tenure, to any other country. So I decided to come back to India, and that was the time when I got this opportunity. And here, I would say one of my friends, Sanjeev Navangul, he was with me in Sanofi actually, and he was the global MD of the company. And at that time, and rather also, he is the global MD of the company. And Advent board, the directors on the board, including their MD Pankaj Patwari, they interacted with me and they gave me the profile of Bharat Serum and Vaccine, which was very interesting. There were products with recombinant technologies and many others, I would say, really technological driven. There were the brands, which were built over a period of time and did not have generics in a way or copy products. So they were differentiated products. So I felt, this is a portfolio which is like an MNC portfolio.
Mm.
And to me, towards the later part of my career, it's a great opportunity as the private equity company, Advent was planning to exit in the coming 2 years,
Mm.
and they wanted, at that time for me to take the charge of India operations. I felt it was really interesting, and all my learnings of so many years, I would be able to deploy here and really see that along with the team, we make it really interesting and
Mm.
impactful.
Mm.
And you won't believe that overall everybody is supported by colleagues in the leadership team, my overall, I would say, direct reports and the entire team. They supported and they gave their best so that we could come out with flying colors. And the I would say the exit happened very nicely. It was talk of the industry,
Wow.
one of the best exits at that time. And everybody was happy, you know. So that was the time I felt ki, okay, it's a good, I would say, closure to my corporate career.
Right.
And now I can move towards my consulting, you know, as well as maybe looking at, as I said, that I have been closely working with my previous manager,
Mm.
you know, on one of the startups. So
Right.
so that is how, I worked on this whole thing.
So, sir, when you was working with Sanofi Group for more than 3 decades, you have acquired lots of learning. And now, when we look at the Bharat Serum, it's comparatively faster, leaner, and more entrepreneurial, like kind of a company compared to the French MNC, right? You mentioned the portfolio was more of a more like a MNC company for Bharat Serum. But when you have joined Bharat Serum, in first 90 days, what was the things that you had to unlearn?
I don't think I didn't, at that time I had to unlearn anything. Frankly, in Bharat Serum, I was given full empowerment.
Mm.
Okay. Understand what is the present situation, evaluate how can we grow faster than the market, you know, and look at where we can build in efficiencies. We had both type of portfolio. We had products which were differentiated, and we had a TTK acquired business with Bharat Serum, which was more of a branded generic business.
Mm.
So we had two types of businesses. So at that time, frankly, for me it was important to look at that if we want to really look at fast growth, you know, make the big brands bigger would be one of the fastest thing you can achieve, you
Yeah.
know, because if a brand is 100 crores, can you make it 150? Easy.
Mm.
But if a brand is 50 lakhs, to make it 5 crores is very difficult,
Tough.
you know.
Mm.
So the first thing when you want to really act fast is to look at that part. Second is look at efficiencies, which means which products are letting us down
Mm.
and which territories are letting us down, so that wherever we operate profitably,
Mm.
you know.
Agree.
And third, look at gross margin, improvement along with the procurement team, the plant team, so that we could definitely look at how can we improve our bottom line going forward.
Mm.
And these simple steps, I would say, naturally, like what do you do if you want to make big brand figure? Then naturally you have to do a lot of medical marketing initiatives, webinars, okay,
Mm.
international speakers program, etc., so that you can, you know, ensure that people are aware of the product and how to
Mm.
use those products as well.
Mm.
So those things were all implemented very well, and thanks to my team, I would say, who were very willing to really put a lot of efforts to make these things happen, and also to my, as I said, leadership team, who were always there to support me, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a very collaborative team as well under Sanjeev Navangul,
Mm.
and finally we achieved, you know, what we wanted to achieve.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, sir, we learn a lot of news, and like we read a lot of things about mergers and acquisition, and they become a title of the cover page, and we see lots of things happening. From outside, it is like, we are seeing how the transition is going to happen, and like, these companies going to um, acquire some company, or they are going to merge, right? But when you are looking it at from the insider perspective, so can you take us to the boardroom discussions? Can you take us to your brainstorming discussion? Maybe like lots of back and forth that must be happening. So what does it look like from inside?
See, it's very simple. Your organization basically
Yeah.
is for exit. No? In the sense, the private equity firm Advent wants to exit,
Mm.
and they are potential buyers, who are bidders in a way. Now, naturally, whenever anybody buys anything, they want to do a complete due diligence. Okay, even if you want to buy a house, you will go and really do due diligence. What is the neighborhood? What is there? What are the pluses? What are the minuses? Understand, talk to the owners. And gradually you take that decision.
Yeah.
This is not something. This is not. I would say from a process point of view. Here also you have the meetings first.
Mm.
The first introduction meetings, and where you present your company picture, what has happened in the previous maybe 3 years or so, 5 years or so, what is the future looking like for the products, what are the risks involved, you know and gradually, you come to the what are the things you have been doing to really make those successes, why did you fail in some of the things. So all that actually is discussed
Mm.
by the teams which come basically from the I would say bidder side also. And as I would say a select team of Bharat Serum Management Committee, we try to answer them in the best possible way. Then they also have some of the questions later on, which they will email you, and then we have maybe another meeting, or which can be online also, where we provide them all the answers which they require. For example, if there are some specific issues. So similarly, you have a gold coin meeting followed by two more meetings, I
Mm.
would say, where the group meets, interacts, understands, and then there's a process of, I would say, non-binding offer. After that, you have a process of binding offer. So when the binding offer process comes, two or three companies generally by then are there who gave a binding offer. You know.
Mm.
That is the time when Advent takes over, because it is now the final negotiation.
Yeah.
Because it is very clear that the companies are interested to buy, you know, and the private equity is interested to sell. Now it's the question of, the entire contract which is drawn up, on overall, like I would say, the costs involved, the conditions which are involved. And then when everything gets settled down, one company gets finally, succeeds in buying that company. And in this case, it was Mankind.
Hmm. Yeah. And sir, in the industry, there was a lot of strategic theory behind why mankind wanted BSV. Was the theory right? And was anything sacrificed in the cultural translation that you wish hadn't been?
See, what happens is Mankind is a very large company, I remember that while BSV was 2000 crores approximately, mankind was around 10,000 crores. The combined market cap was around over 1 lakh crores. You know. Now, what happens is for mankind, it was generally a branded generic business. Okay.
Yeah.
Generally. Okay. And primarily domestic business. For BSV, it was 55% domestic and 45% was international business. So naturally, mankind for mankind, it was a very good opportunity because BSV had a very good image with gynecologists, fertility experts, intensivists, hematologists, okay, and various category of doctors because of the unique products we had. So for mankind, I think that was the advantage in domestic market, you know, to build that image, that we are a specialty company, we are a differentiated company. For BSV, it was now the resources were very large to really grow their brands. There was no limitation on the, I would say, uh, budgets, for example, to really spend and make the products bigger. So I think, it was a win-win for both. For BSV people, it was an opportunity to get growth in the larger company as well. So the number of opportunities also increased. Okay. S- Similarly, I would say R&D has been a strength of BSV, and that was the opportunity for mankind. So if you see, both the companies had a win-win. Okay, as this took place. Regarding the culture, culture is something, I would say, it's always driven from the top. And to my mind, the combined company will definitely see that they take the best of both worlds, you know, so that the organization moves and grows sustainably.
Right. Sir, recently I was having a discussion with my team, my editorial team, and the recent edition of Pharma Now, we curated that around women's health,
Hmm.
right? So, in your during your tenure in BSV, of course, like BSV has lots of product portfolios around fertility, IVF, then gynecology, maternal care. So, how do you see that? Is industry really focusing on the women health market? Because I have seen the women health is very complicated phenomena, right? Unlike men, women's are complicated, like like a little. I'd say there are like hormones plays a very important role. Then there is a physiology which is like differently curated.
Hmm.
So how do you see that? Uh, is industry rightly focusing on the women health issues, or like building a product for women?
Yeah, definitely. In today's context, I can say that. And Bharat Singh was committed to women's health,
Mm.
and very clearly, we used to partner with Foxy,
Yeah.
you know, and this is a large organization of gynecologists. I would
Mm.
say one of the largest doctors, our list. They are the if you really look at the total membership. So we collaborated with Foxy for various initiatives. You
Mm.
know, one of them was on like awareness of RH negative.
Mm.
As you know, that RH negative women, there are issues of, when at the time of second pregnancy,
Yeah.
and there's only one unique product, anti-D, which is with Bharat Serums. You know, it's a recombinant technology which is being used,
Mm.
and being having this unique product in the world, I would say,
Mm.
it's a naturally, it is also very important for us to ensure that no patient or no RH negative women is deprived of anti-D whenever it is required for them. So similarly, we have products in the area of fertility also, and we are having a good R&D pipeline for fertility. So we have been doing a lot of awareness programs. Okay, many initiatives, I would say, at schools and college level as well, to educate women, you know, so that they can be empowered with the awareness, knowledge, and wherever required, the doctors are there to really take care of them. So we do programs for medical education for doctors
Yeah.
through senior doctors, and for women at large through other doctors, I would say, for their awareness. So I think these are some of the things which we have been continuing to do. And there are several initiatives, like even we had a product which was a TTK product, Lactare. This was for lactation, and a natural product for lactation. And for that we had tied up with around 100 gynecologists in the country, and did so many awareness programs, some hundreds of them basically, so that the patient, you know that is the mother and the child, get the benefit of you know lactation when
Yeah.
they have that issue, for example.
Hmm.
So I would say that conducting various initiatives along with the medical fraternity in various therapy areas, and especially in the area of women's health, we have been actually doing. And doctors have always appreciated that, you know that this is some very very good initiative from Bharat Serum and Vaccines Limited.
Yeah, wonderful, sir. I think now I would like to do, like, one small thing for our audience. So let's say there is a 28-year-old professional in pharma industry
Mm,
who wants to grow in their career and want to become a leader,
mm.
right? So I want you to talk to that person and tell them what he or she can do to grow in their career, and tell something to them which you was not knowing at 20, when you was at 20 years old.
Okay. See, first of all, when I look at and interact with today's, youth,
Yeah.
in pharma industry, I always feel that, first thing they will come and say that I want to get into product management because I have done MBA.
Hmm.
I always tell them that spend some time in the field, because you will get experience in sales, which is very, very important to you in your entire career life cycle of pharma. Mhm.
True.
Then they say, okay, we don't mind. And I think that it's not question of minding it make it mandatory,
Hmm.
because that is the best place to learn, you know, because the end result of marketing is also sales. So if you know sales, you can do marketing better. And that was there in my mind also when I started my career. Okay. So this is something which I tell the group, that don't be in a hurry that I want to
Hmm.
become a product executive tomorrow. You will always become and you will grow, but
Yeah.
give sufficient time to understand the business, of pharma, which happens in the field. The second thing is that I always also feel that people should be very clear that they are focused on the journey
Hmm.
and not on the destination.
Okay.
Because when you are focused on the journey and you are enjoying the journey, you reach your destination very fast.
Hmm.
But if you focus only on destination, you sometimes feel, oh, I am not, enjoying the journey, and the destination is I am also not reaching there.
Yeah.
You know, so this is another. So my second point is focus on the, journey, enjoy the journey, and you will reach your destination. Third is people should join pharma industry if they are definitely enthusiastic about sales and
Hmm.
marketing.
Hmm.
You know, because if people are not really keen to get into that area, they will be wasting their time. I remember that somebody mentioned once long time back, there was an actor who got an award,
Hmm.
you know, some Filmfare award or something, and he said, I now I remember it's Boman Irani.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he said, I'm in a great industry. I get paid for my hobby
Hmm.
and then get rewarded for it. Okay, so I think this is for every job, because if you are enjoying your job, what you do, you will definitely do well and you will
Hmm.
grow or evolve, I would say, as a professional. But if you're not enjoying, you're wasting your time. It's better to do something else and not waste your life, which is a gift of God.
Hmm.
You know, that is something which I always like to tell youngsters that keep long term view, focus on your strengths, okay, be loyal to what you are doing, have high degree of integrity, and take have an ability to take a stretch, so you work beyond your job responsibility, then only you will grow.
Wonderful, sir. And I think this is circling back to what you have said some time back is SWOT analysis, right? If the professional can do the SWOT analysis, I think process can become very beautiful.
Yes, definitely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wisdom with us. It was really great talking to you and learning a lot of things. And we'll be happy to keep this learnings going on from you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Neha. It was a pleasure speaking to you. And I always feel mutual learning is mutual.
Yes,
So when we talk, we learn from each other.
true, true.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.